Hello everyone, my name is Stephanie Thompson and this is my first module for EDL 854 and it is about building finance and communicating who we are. As I was looking for the class roster today, I realized I've taken classes with many of you, so some of this might be repetitive, but I'm looking forward to another class and learning all about building finance. As some of you will remember, I'm happily married to my husband, Eric, of almost 10 years. We have two children, Jace, who will almost be 9 soon, and Danny actually just turned 6 as I was working on this. So we love all things sports and the outdoors. We're avid Jayhawk, Royals, and Chiefs fans. And if we're not working at school or coaching, then we are usually at a baseball game or sporting event and living it up in our 1999 Winnebago. We love to camp. We live in Pratt, Kansas, and both my husband and I work for USD 382 at the middle school. We have 2 golden doodles, and we love them dearly, Stella and Chief. A little bit more about my educational background. I graduated from Pittsburgh State, played basketball all through college. So like I said, avid sports fans, love everything about it. And I've been in education. This is my 17th year in education. I've taught everything from language arts when I started to becoming a college basketball coach in 2006. I entered back into public education I think 2016, after the birth of our second child. It just became too much. So I've been back in public ed for year number 6, and I've taught social studies, and I'm currently teaching PE 5 through 8. I'm looking forward to obtaining my building level leadership endorsement to hopefully become a principal or assistant principal and athletic director. So I love the challenges that administration brings and the challenges of each new day. I love to solve challenges, often with creative solutions, and I love making an impact on empowering teachers and students to be as successful as they can possibly be. After reviewing the school finance articles, these were my top 10 takeaways, and I put the significance at the end. So they're there. I'll talk about those shortly. So my top 10 takeaways, number 1 being school funding varies from state to state and district to district. Number 2, 48% comes from state resources, and 44% comes from the local level, and 8% from the federal level. Number 3, principals are usually responsible for building the school's budget. Number 4, all fundraising channels through the principals. Number 5, principals must be able to account for school's revenue and how it is spent. 6, principals must comply with Department of Educational guidelines. And one of the most important responsibilities is financial management as the building leader. School leaders need a clear understanding of his or her role in the management of finances and the implementation of financial policy. And the last 2, principals typically are treated like middle managers with little control. And lastly, continuously organizing, understanding, and analyzing and reviewing the budget to fit the needs of the building and students is critical. So after I read those 3 articles and had those quick 10 takeaways, I talked my way through the significance and just some kind of thoughts that I had. I quickly realized I know little about school finance, and I have so much to learn. And when I was at Pratt Community College as the assistant athletic director, and head basketball coach, I did manage the basketball budget there myself. So I had a pretty substantial budget to take care of with the basketball program, and I did go through an overhaul of the entire athletic department's budget. So I've seen it done. I haven't seen it done in a public school setting, but I have seen it done in higher education. But I have so much to learn, and I hope that I get to learn that with each and every one of you through this course. I find it interesting that districts with higher property tax receive more money, basically saying wealthier districts are going to get additional funds. I feel like something right there seems a little odd. I feel like our smaller districts with less wealthy schools and people might need a little bit more funding. So I feel like I have a lot to learn there. However, in Pratt, we have extremely high property tax. So we have quite a bit of funding here in our small town for our somewhat larger 4A school district. So I guess I'm in the right place right now. I'm curious how much say our principals have in our budget LMS. I imagine he's more like the middle manager, as the article suggested. The articles discuss managing the budget, and what I've seen is our secretary does a tremendous amount of work with our budget. I did visit with her. She said there's basically two budgets at LMS, one that our principal manages and one that she manages and pays things through. So again, just a lot of things to learn and a lot of questions to ask over the course of the next 6 weeks while we take this course. I found it important how critical it seems to understand and handle the budget effectively, and I look forward to gaining more knowledge on how my current school allocates resources and who exactly establishes the budget. Teacher salaries were talked about, and it said that the principal needed a clear understanding of teacher salaries, and I found this a bit perplexing because teacher salaries are a negotiated agreement, and it's public knowledge. Anybody can see it at any time, so I'm not really sure where that goes. Just some more questions to ask. As the article suggests, principals get pulled in so many different directions. Do they really have the time to manage and understand the budget as effectively as they need to? Just a question to ask myself. If principals are hired to manage a school, why don't superintendents not enable them to establish their budgets? I feel like some superintendents might allow principals to establish it, but I know, and I think I learned over the last few days, that our superintendent basically gives our principal his budget and goes with, our principal has to go with it. Federal money must be utilized on specific programs or funds are missed out on. I think I knew this because we've seen this at our elementary school within our Title I program, which is a phenomenal program that we utilize extremely effectively here in our lower grades. Some of my thoughts on our principal and concerns, just ramblings, I guess, things I wanted to have questions answered and think about. Our district office does set the amount for our LMS budget, so it comes from the board and the superintendent. Our principal has a budget to use at his discretion, and he is also responsible for teachers' classroom budgets, which I think I knew. I just don't know what that looks like exactly, so I would like to get my hands on that and visit with him further to learn more. My concerns are overall knowledge and understanding. Our principal is relatively new, and he got started in the year of COVID, so I think he, again, has been pulled in so many directions. I would just question just overall knowledge and understanding, and then I would also question or have concerns over the ability to prioritize without always saying yes. There comes a time when it has to be important and a priority, or you got to say no. And I just wonder if that is there for our current admin. These are the references that were provided for us. And like I mentioned, I'm excited to learn all I can about school finance and learn from each and every one of you as we move through this course. If I can help at any time, again, I'm Stephanie Thompson from Pratt USD 382. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.